Well, hello, hello, hello.
Hey,
How's
hey.
everyone doing? Hey, Michelle. Hey, Margaret. It's good to see you. Welcome to my first YouTube live. Hey, Swag Slayer or Tiana. How you doing, lady? It's good to see you as well. So I really appreciate y'all joining me. It's a great first experience. And the interesting thing about it is I get, hey Cynthia, how are you? Hello, hello. It's good to see you as well. Good to see you. And I'll try to keep up with the comments as they come along. And can everyone hear us okay? All right. Oh, hey Marina, how you doing? How you doing, Flipping Girls? How you doing? And so can everybody, well, thank you, Michelle. So sweet. Michelle has that beautiful hair color like you too, Lisa.
Yeah,
You lucky
I think you
lady.
guys did a video together, I think.
Yeah, that's right. You were. Yep. And let's see. Okay, good. I'm glad y'all can hear us well. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. This is actually my first live YouTube on my channel. I have done quite a few lives, but just not on my channel. And I want to introduce, for many that may not know, my friend, and I call her my sister from another mister. We have been friends for so long. I mean, she remembered me before I had my son. My son is 20 years old now. I remember her son when he was like, what was he, 2 or 3?
Two, yeah, two.
Yeah, and
And
he's how old now? Because I'm like, China's like,
a
oh,
couple weeks he'll be 28.
yeah. So that lets y'all know how long we know we've been knowing each
Yeah.
other. Um, she was the maid of honor in my wedding, and we just love each other. We were in corporate America together. We kind of like did like the same companies for a long time, and until we just branched off. She went to Florida and all that good stuff. So today we're going to be talking about goals, and we're going to have an interesting take on the term dreams in relationships to goals and how people correlate it. And Lisa had did a really great video. It was her very first video on her YouTube, right, Lisa?
Yeah,
And
it
Lisa has
was.
a channel called Lyrical Aspirations. So definitely, like you see in the title, that's her YouTube channel. Please subscribe to her. She does do a video every week, and they're really powerful, great short videos, just about motivation in so many different areas. She also did a really great one this week called Choose You, which we might talk about that as well. Yeah, I do love great friendships for sure. Hey, Nikki, how are you doing? Hey, Rhonda, how are you? Thanks, ladies, for joining. So, you know what? Without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get to the, what is it called, the meat and potatoes of this.
Yeah. We're hungry. We're
That's
hungry.
great. So what's your take on the term? Like, a lot of times people, they have conversations. So, well, my dream is to do this, do that, and that in correlation with the goals rather.
I think it's important for all of us to have dreams, but we have to be careful in the way in which we use that word, because when we talk about dreams, sometimes we can correlate. When we say we're having a dream, a lot of times they're kind of not reality based. And I'm not talking about the dreams that we say we want to accomplish. I mean, your real dreams when you sleep. A lot of times they're not completely reality based. They might be wild all over the place. And so when we talk about dreams, I think we have to talk about it in the sense of large goals, right? You have a dream, but make sure that it's not stationary dreaming that you're doing. So you can dream as long as you are in movement, in motion with it. But if you're stationary dreaming, that's just saying, as an example, if you want to be in the NBA, but you never play basketball, you don't practice, that's just stationary dreaming. You're wanting something, but not actually doing it. And so when we talk about dreaming, we have to understand that life is meant to be lived, and dreaming stops when you wake up. And so, stop dreaming and start moving is my take on dreams.
And see, I love that because I remember when me and you had a conversation about that. And I said that's so powerful because people do use that term all the time. My dream is to do this, and my dream is to do that. And then we do notice people that we meet years later that never got it. And I think, like you're saying, it's that mentality they're living in a dream world and they're not living, and they're not living in the now for sure. Talk to us about like your take on goals. Like I know you had a good example in the video we were talking about. We were talking about, for example, if somebody wanted to write a book, for example.
Yeah, see, I'm a big believer in goals in motion, and I really came up with this idea when I was driving to North Carolina from Florida. It's a long drive. It's about 10 and a half hours. And so what I would do is I would break that trip up. So my first goal was just to get to Jacksonville, Florida. Once I got there, I'm accomplished. Now my next goal is just to get to Savannah. I never saw it as all the way to the end. And so I'm a believer in goals in motion, meaning that you have small goals along the way. And those small goals help you build up to that large goal that you're trying to achieve. And what we take for granted, you want to be at the top right away. Everybody wants to jump right to the top. But what we don't realize is that along those steps, along those little goals that we set, we're actually learning. If we were to shoot right to the top, we might not be ready for the goal in which we're trying to go to. We may not be mentally ready to handle it at that point. So we have to really take stock and really appreciate the steps along the way, but celebrate every single one of them as if it is the greatest accomplishment. And that's the key to goals to me, is making sure you set them small. And when you achieve them, don't just say, oh, well, I got that done, but like really, really celebrate it with yourself.
Yeah, I totally agree with that because I've definitely been working on doing that myself lately, because one of the things I definitely like the term that you said, goals in motion. I think that's wonderful. I love that phrase. It's powerful. Goals in motion. It's just great. I love that. And it's totally true, because that's really what it's about. It's about moving forward, continuously moving.
Right.
And I think that's really key. And one of the problems that I used to have is I call it the perfectionism or OCD.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, I would have these like goals written down, but then I would like procrastinate because I was like, "Ooh, I don't have this, or this doesn't look like this, or I really should have this first. I really don't know what I'm doing, so I'm going to wait until I can figure it out." All these little, excuses, and then the next thing you know, a year passes and you have not worked on your goal at all because you were doing, well, once I have this, I'll do this. And the sad part about it is a lot of people do that. Wouldn't you agree, Lisa?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think it's really easy. And we have to be careful, because sometimes the reason why we keep talking ourselves out of it is truly fear, and fear of failure. And we may just not be recognizing it as such. But I kind of liken it to, I was having a discussion with somebody at work one day where a system went down, just one system. Now we operate out of, 10, and that one system went down. So she didn't do any work at all. And so finally I'm asking her, like, well, why didn't you do anything? And she's telling me all these, the pharmacy system was down. The pharmacy system is down. And I said, okay, think about it like this. If you have 10 chores and one of those chores is taking the garbage out, do you stop doing all the other chores just because you don't have trash bags? You know what I mean? And so we have to say, okay, I may not have this piece or whatever I want, but I don't necessarily need that piece to get started. Getting started can mean researching something. It may not be actually, paying something or putting in this great deal of effort. It may just be researching what are your next steps. That takes nothing at all. That takes no money, and it takes very little time to do that. And that is starting as well. That is still a small goal to set, is let me learn about this, or take the time to do that. So don't discredit how big or small something is getting started with. Sometimes getting started is just getting past you telling yourself that everything has to be lined up.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm totally on board with that, because I've done a lot of stuff now that I would consider myself subpar work, but I'm actually proud of myself because I was like, I figured it out the best way I could and I got it done.
That's right.
Like, I'll give an example. My last video, and y'all are welcome to look at it and laugh, but I did a video and I used a different format because I also just started a podcast too, by the way, guys. It's Evolving Always Productions. I haven't added the links yet, but I'll put it on my link tree in Instagram. But anyway, so I had started a podcast, so I was using a different format, and I said I'm going to do my YouTube video this way, and then I'll be able to add it to my podcast. So I did this, and the video quality was horrific, and even the sounds, I mean, it was like horrific, and to the point. And I had been working a lot that day because I had to do some other videos as well. And it was like horrific. I said, and I was like, if I don't do it, it's not going to get done. And I said, I'm not going to do this part with the podcast. I just put it in there. Because, I had also said in my very first video, I said, this YouTube channel is going to be evolving. I said, because we're going to be improving. We're going to be working on getting better. You will see, things changing constantly. So I said, I had to tell myself, it's okay that it's not perfect right now. We're going to learn and get better, And so that's what it's all about, get better equipment, all that good stuff.
Yeah, and we have to learn along our journey. We don't come into this world knowing how to do everything. We have to push ourselves. We have to find that self-motivation inside. A lot of times, not everybody is going to support you and where you want to go and what you want to do. You have to be able to really support yourself and surround yourself. This is one of the key things to goals, is surrounding yourself with people that are looking in a different direction. Not necessarily do they have to be looking in the direction you're going in, but people that are pushers of themselves, drivers, motivators. Just you as an example, Terry, just anybody that probably is on here right now feels motivated when they speak to you. These are the types of people you want around you when you're talking about goals and setting goals. And the key to really hold yourself responsible to some of these things when you find yourself wavering, or you find yourself maybe you have a goal of working out 5 days a week, but 4 days of those weeks you kind of talk yourselves out of it. The key to doing that is really telling it to somebody else, and then kind of holding yourself accountable to come back and give them updates about it. It just gives you that, okay, it's not just me that I'm holding myself accountable to, if you feel like you don't have the ability to push. But we have to find that motivation. And I love the fact that you posted it, because perfectly imperfect is absolutely perfect, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yes. that is the tagline. That is the talent. This is wonderful, Wendy. I've tagged her that. I've got a couple of nicknames for people, but this is my friend, Wonderful Wendy. She's so sweet.
Wonderful Wendy. I love that.
And I love that. Yeah. And I'm just so glad I've come to grips with it, because that was the hugest problem. And even because I had initially did a YouTube channel, I've actually had Evolving Always Productions for a while and did some videos, but took them down. It was so funny because that's how my OCD was really kicking in. And I was like, I'm never going to get anywhere with this. If I can't, just stop doing that, and I said, it's all about learning and growing. I said, and constantly, and the act of actually doing. That's the thing too. You learn so much by actually doing something, instead of freaking out about it, saying, well, I don't know how to do it, so I'm not going to do it. But if you just go ahead and push yourself to do it, attempt to do it, even if it's kind of a really crazy, you have technical issues. And some of my friends know what I'm talking about, because they've had technical issues, and they know who they are. I mean, you did it and you learn from it, and that's what's going to happen. I was supposed to have a live on YouTube. I was supposed to actually have my first live. When did I reach out to you? I think it was 3 weeks ago, because it was dealing with Poshmark and sharing closets and stuff like that. But then I didn't realize that I couldn't do it on YouTube. I learned that you had to wait 24 hours, which was interesting. So you have to click on something on YouTube, and they'll give you permission within 24 hours. So it was a learning experience for me. And okay, hold on. I think I messed up here. I'm not sure. See, I'm probably not doing this right, but if you had a question, I get you. See, I'm with you now. I was behind, see, but I should know exactly what you mean. He was just trying to tell me she had technical issues too. But
Oh,
she is a content creator.
okay.
So remember that. Yes, it's Boss C. I'm gonna put her back up. She is a content creator. Look her up. She's on YouTube as well. Make sure to subscribe to her.
Absolutely.
but anyway, but the cool thing about it is when that happened, I had to think about it. I was like, well, come up with plan, B, C, D. I just kept working through the problem, just correcting it until we did the live on Facebook, which was a good experience because I had not actually done a live on Facebook before, but it was really cool the way we did it. It was very similar to this. It was actually really cool.
Oh, yeah, I see what Wendy's saying about getting overwhelmed with things that require to learn technology. There's a lot of people that, technology is moving so quickly and it's really hard to keep up with all of it. The one thing I will say is there's a lot of really good free programs for different technology-based things. I get a little nervous as well. Terry Lynn kind of, you use a lot of apps and you try a lot of different things. And I sit back and I'm like, I listen and I feel a little bit slow sometimes with it, but I'm still trying to learn it. So I think the good thing is that when you struggle, think about the people in your life that have a strong grip on technology and utilize them. These people that are in your life, what is it? The 6 degrees of separation. Maybe the person close to you may not know somebody. I mean, they may not know it, but they may know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that can help you. So utilize your resources instead of giving up on a goal because of the fear of, I'm not going to understand the technology. Find somebody that can understand the technology and walk you through it. I promise there's people in your life that can do it.
You know what? Now, what Lisa just said about the 6 degrees of separation, this is why me and her are sisters, because that's a saying that's in my head all the time. And me and her haven't even discussed that ahead of time. And it's so funny that she brings that up because I am a firm believer in that. And I've gotten more and more into that. I'm like, yeah, I may not know it, but somebody I know knows it, And then, of course, we can always Google it. I want to get back to something that Wendy had said earlier. She was like, because she was talking about she was overwhelmed trying things. But let me tell you something. Wendy, this woman right here, taught herself how to sew.
Oh, wow.
And, that's what I say. Every time I think about that, I'm like, oh, wow. I think the same thing. And not only did she teach herself how to sew, we're not talking about her like taking patterns that you get from, I don't know, I guess you get them from fabric shops or wherever. I don't know, because I can tell I don't know how to sew. So she actually creates her own stuff. I mean, she just thinks of stuff in her head and she creates it. So I mentioned that, Wendy, because if you can do that, what you're talking about with that technology, you got it, lady. You can do it. You definitely can. So, and Michelle, you're definitely right. Those are the issues of how we learn and grow. I totally agree with that. And I think I need to go down to the comments.
Yeah, and truth be told, is one thing you have to keep in mind is that when you're facing new goals and new journeys that you've not gone down before, it may be intimidating and scary. But if you remember the times that you accomplished something that maybe other people didn't feel like you could, or maybe even you thought you couldn't, such as teaching yourself how to sew or play an instrument or whatever it is, remind yourself of that along your journey. Because if you could do that, then I promise you can definitely do whatever it is that you're facing ahead of you. And the other thing I just want to throw out there, and it was, in relation to just making sure that you're in motion, that you're moving, is the one thing we have to understand is that opportunity cannot knock if you do not build a door for it to knock on. And so it is your responsibility to do those things and take those steps, and making sure that you set goals, and then understand where those goals are going to take you so that you can build the appropriate door and you can actually hear the knock at it when opportunity comes.
Absolutely. I totally agree with everything that you just said, Lisa. That's such a great point. Let's see. I always go back to that's a good slogan right there. I always go back to the 90s slogan, just do it. You're right about that. That slogan, I don't know if Nike knew how powerful it is, but it's really true. If you just go ahead and do it,
Yeah.
it's a game changer. And then my friend Cynthia, which she hasn't mentioned this yet, but I don't know if you got to see me on Cynthia's live or not, Lisa, where we discuss Mel Robbins' book, 5 Seconds, the 5 second rule. And
Mm-mm.
basically how it goes is you do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you do whatever it is. Like so, and if you really follow that process, you'll end up just doing stuff. You'll just go ahead and do it.
Oh,
Like
you
like
mean
it
without overthinking it? Is that what it's trying to overcome is overthinking?
Yeah, that's one of the things. Overcoming overthinking. It helps out with anxieties. It helps out with you. Like if you someone that has problems with procrastination, you start using that rule of thumb. She actually started it because she was just trying to get up in the morning. She was supposed to get up, I guess, I think at 5 o'clock in the morning. And she was struggling with that. She could not do it. And so she saw a rocket. And you know how like when rockets are taking off, they always count down.
Mhm.
They always count down.
Yes.
So she saw it and she was like looking at it and it was like 5, 4. She says, I am gonna get out of bed like a rocket. So that was her expression. So because that was one of her main issues that she was having. And so in the morning, she woke up again, and she was like, "I'm think I'm gonna hit the snooze." But before she did, she says, "I'm getting out of bed like a rocket. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1," and then she got up. But that's how the premise started. And for anybody who hasn't read it, I highly recommend reading that book. I got that from Cynthia, and I really appreciate it, my friend, because it really is. It's a great advice. But yeah, anytime you're questioning something, like if you're at a meeting, you're like, should I mention this? Or you want to ask your boss something like maybe it's a raise, but you keep procrastinating. Just go like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just really start taking on that mentality, working out any of your goals. So
I love that.
yeah, I do too. It was really good.
Pushing yourself out of a comfort zone. I see, that comment. Pushing yourself out of a comfort zone is not easy. And we have to figure out the ways in which we can do that. And not only by self-motivating ourselves, but I think, when we're talking about comfort zones, sometimes we try to jump a little too far. Try to push yourself out of a comfort zone on a daily basis. Switch things up, do something different. It doesn't have to be big, it doesn't have to be extreme, but we can program our mind to not be so afraid of stepping outside of the lines if we do it in little ways, if that makes sense.
It totally made sense. I mean, it totally made sense. Anybody that didn't see the name of that book, that's it right there. Thank you, Marina. That's the book right there. And Cynthia had brought it up too. But yeah, definitely check it out. I got it on Audible, and I recommend for because most of the people up here are entrepreneurs, Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
And you're an entrepreneur, and you also work in corporate America. But yeah, the best way, get it on Audible. It's good. It's a good listen to actually, and her talking about her journey and all that good stuff. And I wanted to say something about the comfort zone too. Or sometimes I think it's fear. Sometimes fear is definitely one of those things that will stop people. And you got to start thinking, well, what's the worst thing that can happen, really?
Right.
Yeah, when I was in corporate America, I was in sales, and then I was a manager, and I trained sales. And a lot of people would struggle with sales just because they were afraid of the rejection of the no.
Mm.
But once they realized that was the worst thing that could happen, I mean, once they got over that, then they actually started becoming super successful. And you can relate to that, right, Lisa?
I always say that no puts you nowhere different than where you started. So it doesn't even push you backwards when you get a no. You're literally still where you were. It doesn't even change it. It's just you got to know, and you have to move forward, maybe make adjustments, make changes as you see fit, and push forward again. But a no doesn't push you backwards unless you let it.
I totally agree. I totally agree. So that was one thing that I took in, and I took that in because when I was like really young, I got this job. It was like a week seed company, and it was for sales. I had to call stores, and I did like so horrible. I was young and I was calling. I was like, no, and really the concept was I was actually giving them a free on consignment seed packets thing, so they wouldn't even have to pay anything up front. It was like they simply just pay for it if it sold. That was it. And they were like saying no to that. And it was like it was all a delivery, and it was all in delivery and everything. Hey Quimby, you got to check her out. She's the Grateful Queen, Lisa. You got to check out her YouTube.
Okay.
She's really phenomenal.
Absolutely.
If I can go back here, but anyway, and it was really crazy. It was like I couldn't get it. So I was like, I'm going to quit this. I said, because I'm so tired of you getting a no. And I felt like such dread. I'm like, still have a job. And nobody was like trying to push me out. But I just felt so bad. So when I talked to my manager at the time, he says, some people will never really do well in life. He says, there's so much money in sales. He said that's the best you'll ever do in life is in sales, in the sales field, one way or the other. He says, but a lot of people will never do it because they do give up. He says, they get concerned about, the rejection and all that kind of stuff. So I thought about what he said. I said, you know what? I'm not going to give up then. And I said, I'm just going to keep going. But after that, I ended up being one of his top sellers. But my point is just always ask yourself, what's the worst thing that can happen? Just do it. Just do it. That's the biggest thing. I'm going to point out some people that, for all the people that have YouTube channels, I know the Flipping Girls, they have a YouTube channel. Definitely subscribe to them. I'm trying to go down the line. Dresden Avenue, she has a YouTube channel. Definitely subscribe to her. Cynthia, she also has one. Cynthia, put yours in the comments, and I'll highlight it because I know yours is different from your name. Let's see who else we got. Just want to give some shout outs here. Let's see, bear with me, guys. I'm trying to get down here and. Okay, and of course, most people know, but Leslie has a YouTube channel. It is called A Reseller's Passion. So she's got one as well. So I think everybody knows Leslie up here, but if not, just subscribe to her. She has great content. And I think I mentioned you, but I know you got a YouTube channel because you're a content creator. I like to pick on C. She has sense of humor. It's crazy. And I know who I missed. I got to find her. So many comments here. Okay. This phenomenal woman, Rhonda, she has a YouTube channel. Definitely subscribe to her when you get a chance. And Retro Diva. So check her out for anybody who hasn't. So I think I about got nope, there is somebody I missed. Where is she? And Glow Girl Glow. Matter of fact, she has a live. It's coming up in about 30 minutes. It's going to be on Instagram though, so make sure to catch her on that. She's going to be actually with the Flipping Gal, so that's going to be awesome. And also Leslie, sorry, I'm trying to unclick off of this, and I think I still didn't unclick off of it. But anyway, Leslie's also going to be having a live. She's going to have a live at 9 o'clock, and hers is going to be on Instagram as well. So I think I lost that comment. I was trying to get off of Nikki so I can highlight. If there's anybody I missed, feel free to. I did miss a person, Swag Slayer. Swag Slayer, she's still up here?
These are awesome names.
If you're still up here, because I can't find the comment I have for Hey Glow Glow to unclick it. So if you're up here, put your, it's Swag Slayer though, for people that don't know. She has a YouTube channel as well. Definitely check her out. She has really awesome content as well. So what are some other thoughts? Talk to me a little bit about your last video when you said choose you. because I really love that video as well.
I think a lot of times we have issues with putting too much value and stock in what other people either think that we should be doing, or the journey in which we should be taking, instead of really going within ourselves. And there's a lot of things that I go through in that video of things that we can start to do to make sure that we show the world that we are choosing ourselves. And when you choose yourself, it's really setting out to the world that you have boundaries that will not be crossed. You stand strong in who you are, and you stand strong in what you believe in, and you're not swayed. And I think a lot of times, whether it be relationship, like romantic relationships or family, whatever, a lot of times we get swayed into not really being who we are. And it's really important that we get to the point where we can take the mask off, and the people that we choose in our circle are okay with who that is behind that. You know what I mean? And choose who you are at all times, because you have to be genuine to yourself if you want anybody outside of you to be genuine to you.
You said that is so true. And I think that's such an important focus on so many levels, that we don't do that, especially as women. Women are the worst for that, and men do a much better job of choosing themselves. So,
yeah.
And that's something we need to think about. I want to real quick, this is Cynthia's YouTube channel. So make sure to subscribe to her. And it's really cool because she caters to the Latino community as well. So for your Latino friends, let them know, because this lady right here, she's a hustler. So make sure that they subscribe to her. All right. So, and I think I've gotten everybody as far as that goes. Yeah, so definitely. I had to pull this up. Yes, we are. But I really, this is one of my, I love her. She's my, I call her my workout buddy. I've got quite a few workout buddies up here actually, but, and I'm gonna tell you right now, this woman, I'm trying to keep up with her. I don't think you get screwed. I can't see you getting screwed. You are tough. I mean, this woman be out there. I mean, she is on it. Working out hard. And I got another friend up here that works out really hard. I'm getting ready to go back to her. She did a great workout video today. I'm like, I don't think any men need to be messing with her either. But yeah, that is a true statement. We are definitely, I feel bad at saying that, I guess I shouldn't say that, because I want this channel to be for everybody. We're equal. We just have differences, and we need to review those differences to be better people. Like, men need to review the differences that we have that can actually make them better. And we definitely need to review the differences that they have to make us better. And that'll make us, more emotionally intelligent, if that makes any sense. Because I think that's really key, because, we have a lot of people that are self-employed up here, obviously, that are entrepreneurs. But let's say, for example, people that are in corporate America, that's one of the biggest things, to see the way men managers handle things as opposed to women managers, and just how they go through corporate America. It's a totally different thing. And you really should analyze it and learn. And you'll find that if you use the tricks that they do, even though they may call you a different name, I know I had to deal with it, they'll take you seriously and you'll still get ahead. It's just those things. But, and there's a lot of things that we have to offer that men definitely need to pay attention to make themselves more well-rounded. That'd be better in the work environment, as well as they'll be a better husband, a better father, those type of things. Yep.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that, Lisa?
Yeah, I think it's important for us to understand where other people are coming from, whether that be, a male versus female, or just another individual in your life, because not only are you going to be able to learn from them something, even if somebody has a bad quality, you learn that you don't want to have that quality. So we learn something right out of it. And then when we talk about corporate America or any environment, if we can learn to harness the strengths of other people, then we are able to gain success through learning from other people. You don't have to harness their bad qualities that aren't necessarily going to be helpful in your journey, but it is okay to look and gain what we can from each other. And I think we do have a lot to learn when it comes to the different sexes from each other. And it's
Yeah,
not
I
that,
totally
you know, one
agree.
is better. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. We do. We have a lot to learn, and it'll just help us out overall, and just mapping out life, your relationships, and everything. It's all of that stuff. Um, Hold on, this is interesting right here. Yeah, we have to practice bravery and putting ourselves out. We sure do. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, a powerful statement here.
And that
Uh,
that means doing it little thing. It when we say bravery, you know, I think sometimes, especially as women, and I can't, and I say that because I'm a woman, so maybe men are like this and I just don't know it. But you know, women put a
go ahead.
lot of pressure on themselves. We go, 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 go. We don't give ourselves rest time. We don't, you know, we try to do everything all at once a lot of times. And when we talk about bravery, and I forget how it was worded, it says we have to try it regularly. And
Mhm.
so you got to do it in little ways. You know, it doesn't have to be this extravagant thing like I'm going to go skydiving tomorrow and be brave. You know what I mean? Like we've got to demonstrate it in little ways and start recognizing it. You may be amazed when you really look at all of the things that you do in your life, just how much bravery you showed in different situations that you didn't even give yourself credit for. So really take the time daily, and sit with your thoughts and think about what happened throughout the day. You know, where did I show bravery? Where did I show growth? Where did I show that I was evolving? Think about those things and give yourself credit for it along the way. Too many times we go, 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 and we don't stop and give ourselves credit, but we'll stop and give ourselves criticism all day and all night.
Oh my
But we will
gosh.
not stop and give ourselves credit for what we have done.
Oh, oh, we just go overboard. Oh my gosh. That statement where, of course they make memes about, do I look fat in this? The famous question we're always asking our men. Because we're just over analyzing everything about the way we look. We get over concerned about it, to the point that we don't want to take pictures. We don't want to do any of this good stuff. I wanted to bring it up because I don't think I highlighted her, but this is her actual Swag Slayer. And that would be her on YouTube. Definitely check her out. And then that's her on Instagram as well. But yeah, we do that. We are so hard on ourselves. So hard.
Oh, it's ridiculous. And I want to add to that. And I see the comment saying, and often we don't support each other as women. And that's very true. And one of the biggest things that, as these entrepreneurs are on here, you guys are business owners, you know that supporting others or empowering others actually does give you more power inside of yourself. And so if we start really supporting each other and building a network, where women can feel safe amongst other women, that there's no cutthroat behaviors and things of that nature, then we will be able to rise and grow even stronger than we are today. So I totally agree with that statement. We have to stop looking at women to shoot them down and say all the things that they're doing wrong. We really have to be able to support each other. And I know a lot of corporations are starting these employee inclusion groups where they're doing, there may be different ones, but I know there is one that's just for women, but they encourage everybody to join it so that men and women alike can hear the struggles that women go through. And a lot of times we have talked about other women not supporting women as they go up that ladder into success. And it's a sad thing, but I agree, not with this group, but it is a sad thing to see. So even if you have friends in your life, share that message with them as well on a regular basis. We have to do better as women to each other.
I totally agree. And that's one of the things that I'm a big advocate for, because I feel like, and of course, and most of these people up here are entrepreneurs. They're great people. But I feel like we're in this universe together as a team, and that really they can't be successful without me. I can't be successful without them.
Right.
And I'm not talking about them specifically. When I say this, I'm talking about entrepreneurs that I don't even know.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we have to work together as a team. We have to support each other. what you give out into the universe, you get back. And I talked about that in my like very first video, but I'm a firm believer in that. That's why I'm always really about supporting people in small business. I do it as much as I can because I feel like it's so important, and it's a hard thing. Being an entrepreneur is hard. I mean, it's not an easy thing for anybody that tries to think that it is. It's absolutely not. It's a very complicated, it's complicated. So that's why I feel like we need to support each other and be there for each other and get rid of those petty differences that we may have, just love on each other, because together everyone achieves more. I'm a firm believer in that. I've believed in that for like ever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's so crucial. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
In that forever. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just totally agreeing with you. I mean, it is all about lifting up. And you have to look around at the opportunities along the way that women have been able to open up because of other women. And so if we support each other, then we'll have even more opportunities than what we've already seen in our lives. More and more will open up. And I know just from the I'm in corporate America. I've seen so many more women in positions that 5 years ago were not in those positions. And I have to say that, they probably had some support of women, but to your point, Terry Lynn, some of them had to go at it hard where they might have been called certain names, but they still got there. And this is the time where we really need to show that support because women have broken down walls for other women to walk into that same journey and make that journey even better and better and better.
Yeah, and we women have to realize we're worthy. And I'm explaining what I mean by that. And I'm not trying to get political, so don't think I'm picking sides or anything when I say this, guys. I'm just gonna make a comment about what a woman said on TV, and I want to talk about it. Because this was said a couple of times in different scenarios, basically the same thing. But when Hillary was running for president, and we know she was totally intelligent woman, totally capable woman. But anyway, the comments about her being a woman and not being able to run, guess where those comments were mostly coming from?
Women.
They were coming from women. And then I heard some of the same things when it came to, who's vice president-elect right now. So my point is, we women have to do better. We have to realize that we can handle things. We can do things. We are strong. We are smart. We're more than the way we look on the outside. And I think that's part of the problem, because society has always just kind of been like, you look pretty, you stay on the side, you have to look good, and that's it. But we're more than that. We're more than a pretty face. We've got this. We can do things. Like I said, both are equal. And so I think that's really important. We have to do better at that. And we're talking 2020, and women were saying stuff like that. And I'm like, why would you say that? Why would you think that a woman can't handle the job? What planted in your mind? And then there was a comedian. In fact, it's Dave Chappelle. I love Dave Chappelle. I forgot the entire topic of what he was saying, but the end result was, he says, and you wonder why you're paid lower. And he was making a joke about it. But then I thought about what he said, and I'm like, there's some validity to that. He says, and the reason why I say that is because women sometimes have a problem realizing that they're worthy, that they should have this. They're the least likely to ask for more money. For those that are still in corporate America, they don't ask. And that's the other reason why men sometimes are getting paid more, because they don't ask. They don't ask for that raise. They don't ask for that money. And so these are things we have to realize, that we are worthy, going back to Choose You, right? But we just have to realize that, because that's so important. And I just thought I wanted to mention that, because I see that all the time. They don't want to ask, and I'm like, why wouldn't you ask? Or they don't want to apply for a certain job. Well, so-and-so's applying, and it might be a guy. Well, they'll probably hire him because he's this, like, apply for the job.
That's right.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah, you never know. And I love that fear and scarcity consciousness. That's
Yeah.
great. That's great how that was written. I think it's really important. Everything that you said, absolutely. You have to do that. And one of the things that I always tell people, I do a lot of helping people with resumes and cover letters and things like that. And one of the things that I always say is, make sure that you negotiate your pay, because if you don't, they're going to pay you what they want to. But if you come in and you say, no, I want to make X amount, they may not meet that X amount, but they do now believe that you believe you're worth more than what they were offering. And it sets a different tone. And it may not even be something that the interviewer or the HR person knows consciously, but inside, they immediately have a different respect level for you. No, women have to understand that it is okay to negotiate money. It is okay to ask for more than what you have, because truth be told is it's actually going to be respected. It's not going to be looked at as, oh, look at Susie over here trying to ask for something. You know, it's going to be like, wow, I'm glad Susie finally saw that she was worth this. You know what I mean? So we've got to get out of our heads. And somebody put a comment that we've been conditioned to stay in our own lane. And this is very true. And it's not just conscious conditioning that we've gone through. There have been subliminal things throughout our lives that let us know that we should stay in our lanes. And so we have to know this so that we can recognize it and stop it inside of ourselves. We stop putting ourselves in a lane because we actually know that the lane exists. So if we know that the lane exists, then we can consciously step outside of it. If that makes sense.
It makes total sense. And, you know, I totally am all about that. And, you know, the interesting thing is, and a lot of people don't realize that, but the men that are what we would call, there's some men that are like, I guess you call very macho. Not picking on it, it's just there's certain men that are like that. If you handle them very tough, they have nothing but respect for you. They really do. I've dealt with that. So for people that I've had to deal, if you have to deal with men like that, that's advice I'm going to go ahead and give you right now. They have nothing but respect for them. You really have to give back what they give off. You really do. So I know we're getting a little bit off tangent on that, but we wanted to talk about that in a relationship to goals, because sometimes people don't think they're worthy of stuff. And so they won't try for things. And you got to realize that you are worthy. So whatever you think in your head you can do, but obviously you got to make the goals and you got to take the actions. You got to do what is needed day to day. It could be little things, but like I like to say, forward is forward all the time.
Yeah, I always say, change your thinking, you change your life. All you have to do is set the direction. A lot of people want to go to the right, but they're still facing forward. And so we have to at least make that conscious effort to know where we want to go and then take the steps to get there. If we don't know the steps to take to get there, then start talking to the people in your circle. It is amazing how many people will say, oh, I know somebody that does that. I was talking about recording a video for poetry, and I just happened to mention it to another poet, and they were like, oh, I know a filmographer that can do this and that and that. And it was it just out of the blue. I didn't even ask them for help, and it just came. So, you know, talk to people about your dreams. I'm not saying tell them everything about your goals. Don't tell them every piece of it necessarily, but talk to people. They may be able to help you along the journey.
Right, because there are people out there that are supportive, and there's people that can kind of give you a roadmap, because sometimes we do need a roadmap. Because believe it or not, as much as we would like to say, not everything's on Google. You know, we like to say everything's on Google, but it is not. Hey, take care, Marina. Thank you so much. I'm going to hop off since I definitely want everybody to go to Glow Girls Glows Live, if I can get that out my mouth. I totally agree with you, Leslie. Thank you, Lisette, for coming. You know, I love you too, girl. Love you too. Definitely love you. Love you much. Going back real quick to what Leslie was saying. Yeah, I believe people treat you the way you allow them to treat you. That is so true. And we can't stress this enough, because this channel is dedicated to people evolving, becoming better. We have a lot of entrepreneurs out here. We know it's important that they feel worthy. They go for it, they go at it. But I know there's people still in corporate America, And for them, I want you to know you got to really, that statement that Leslie said, you've got to utilize that, because if you're gonna carry yourself a certain way, they're gonna treat you that way. So just make sure that that's you're carrying yourself and treating yourself the right way, so others will reciprocate.
Yeah.
Oh, that is a good point. Yeah, I can see that. And they're a great way to learn and share our wisdom. I love that. I love that concept. And real quick, and it's kind of off topic. Thank you so much, Michelle. So my nickname for Michelle, love her, is Light Bright.
I love
She is like the sweetest person, I tell you. But anyway, thanks, Michelle. Definitely please hit the thumbs up. You'll see that once you get out of the chat. So definitely do that. There was something I wanted you to talk about real quick, Lisa, and I think I may have lost my train of thought, which is horrible. But anyways, it'll come back to me for sure.
Well, the only thing I'd like to say before we go is just whether it be females or males that are watching this, just make sure that you go out here on a daily basis and motivate yourself. Sometimes if you can't find motivation, motivating somebody else, or maybe just putting something online that's motivational, can start to pull you into a place where you start feeling more motivated. So just try to push yourself every single day. Try to push other people in your life every day to be your best version of you for that day. Don't get so consumed in 5 years from now. Yes, those are important, but you've got to have a relationship with yourself and find yourself and really start working towards that. As you're working towards your goals, let one of those goals be loving you harder and more than you did yesterday.
That is so true and powerful. We got to love ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We got to love ourselves and give ourselves self-care. I wanted to talk about this real quick because I love it. There's a quote I come back to often. Athletes who win believe they deserve the win.
Yes.
So true. I totally agree with that. So remember, we're getting ready to wrap up because I definitely want to be able to support others. But I love that thought. You deserve to win. To people that are listening, you deserve to win. Feel free to reach out to me on Instagram at Evolving Always. And I will be adding this to podcast. I really appreciate Lisa Johnson coming out. Lyrical Aspirations. She is also on YouTube. Lots of great content. Check her out. And then me and Lisa are actually going to be doing a podcast together in the near future. Get the title, Lisa, because I love it.
Passions and Poetry.
That's right. Passions and Poetry. So we'll be doing that as well. But I do have a podcast on Evolving Always Productions. I'll be putting more content out there. Thank everyone for coming out. Y'all are the greatest. Y'all made this so. I really appreciate y'all. I can't express how much I appreciate y'all. This is my first live on my YouTube.
Yes.
And y'all just made it so wonderful for us. I really appreciate that. Love all of y'all and have a great day. Bye.
Bye.